We find out say most people want to put their money in a bank, but they don't want to make them they pay interest on their money or cut. Now that make we bring Million Islam account. This account will be savings account, no more, no interest, and they not they cut any charges. This na account where you for open for long term. The shortest term where if for day na for 3 months. But you and the relationship officer will talk about that when you go open the account. You can open the account with 50 million. You not pull money come out there till after 3 months when you open now. If you begin pull money there every 3 months, the accounts they change back to ordinary current account. Anybody, picking, young and old people them can able open this account. We go give you Visa card and we go sign you up for the mobile app. For opening this account, you will need the account form, national ID card or NACID card, any documents where they prove Usa you tap and 2 passport picture. Beyond Islam accounts don't come for allow most in them for opening an account in a bank. Sierra Leone Commercial Bank. Delivering value.
This internet is very slow and the show has already started.
And my game keeps freezing. We need better internet and better security. God.
Introducing Michel Group of Companies. From ultra-fast internet to round-the-clock protection, Michcom RSP Internet powers modern homes and smart businesses across Sierra Leone, all the way to Liberia and Guinea border. With our advanced internet service, you get blazing fast broadband and fiber optic connection, secure VPN for personal and business use, affordable, customizable plans, 99.9% reliable uptime, and 24/7 customer support. But we don't stop there. Our MSA Michel Security Agency are built for today's world, combining trained professionals with advanced technology for homes, offices, businesses, and events. From ID checks to emergency response, we keep your people and property safe without disrupting your lifestyle, not just in Freetown, but also in the provinces. Visit our head office at 71D Wilkinson Road, Freetown, or email us on elias@michcom.sl or info@michcom.sl. You can also visit our website at www.michcom.sl, or you can contact the numbers on your screen. Michel Group of Companies. Stay connected, stay protected.
SLCB is here with Million Senior Account. Are you a senior citizen who receives NACID pension at the end of the month? Or a senior citizen without a NACID pension? Then Million Senior Account is for you. Open a Million Senior Account and get a checkbook. Do COT on current accounts and a higher monthly interest rate on savings accounts. A dedicated teller will be there to attend to you. All you need is 50.
Across Sierra Leone, more people are asking the same question. Why buy fuel anywhere else when Cornex gives you more? Professionally trained attendants who know service matters. Conex Fuel, a litre is a litre, every single time. And when it's time to pay, easy. Pay with mobile money, Visa or MasterCard, or the Cornex Fuel card. Clean restrooms, welcoming spaces. Every station, every time. Clean fuel, clean spaces, clear value. That's why Sierra Leone fuels with Cornex. Cornex retail outlets, always clean, always professional, always for you. Fuel smart. Visit any of our Cornex stations nationwide for your quality fuel and lubricants today.
Young people are always very daring. They are smart, they can take risk, but because we are also educating them, they can take calculated risk. And you need a lot of these people to be able to move the economy. So I was speaking on behalf of them, encouraging them not to despair, but also saying that we as government should actually open the access to finance and other things for them to be able to embark on entrepreneurship.
And I want to see, I'm not worried about the negativity because people are going to say what they want to say, but just watch my actions, you know what I mean? See, when I'm talking about Sierra Leone, what am I saying about Sierra Leone?
Show that AYV has grown more than it was the last time. I want to tell you something as AYV and also to our viewers. Any work that you do, if you work very hard and you are dedicated sincerely for the cause of the Almighty, Allah will give you growth.
Guys, my name is DJ Neptune, aka Greatness. Listen up to my people out in Sierra Leone. Today, 5 p.m., I'll be live and direct on The Hype Show with Michelle on AYV Radio, and we're going to be premiering my new single, Gaza.
Yeah, like as I mentioned, my parents, they live here. So basically, for them, I want to see them because I didn't see them for a long time. And obviously to meet them here in Salon is for me, it's even better because in England it's cold.
At the end of the polls today, if we don't have major issues, then we will all thank God. You know, I'm the West African Elders Forum, and one stable West Africa.
Yeah, it's my first time here, so I'm just really excited to be around and just like spread the love and spread the music and work. Yeah.
When big names talk, they talk to the AYV.
From dawn to dusk, and from dusk to dawn, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days all year round. This dedicated team is here working industriously to bring you
the facts,
the analysis,
The interviews,
the news,
the views from the ordinary people.
we set the agenda.
We bring you seamless broadcast.
we cover the happenings.
We give you the angles on the screen.
We cover the events.
We tell the story. We produce the shows.
We commission and ensure the stories are delivered.
We bring you all actions and excitement in sports.
We get our inspiration from you because you have chosen us as the nation's most trusted voice. AYV, the home of all things credible, factual, and of course, all times balanced news.
You are watching AYV Television.
Apologize for that technical glitch. Now from our broadcasting house here on Wesley Street in Sierra Leone's capital, Freetown. This is Primetime News on AYV TV and radio. You're watching us on channel 33 and listening to us on frequency modulation 101.7. I am Marina Terry. Let's start with tonight's headlines. Commerce sanctions 6 lecturers and 6 students over examination malpractice. ONS speaks on the reopening of Yenga and government's security measures.
So whilst there are concerns over the ownership of Yenga, we thought, our leadership's thoughts, rightly so, that it was high time that we de-escalate the tensions.
Residents in northern Sierra Leone began collecting passports 2 months after the Sierra Leone Immigration Department opened its regional office.
We have over 149 applicants and we have processed over 149 passports, and we have also issued out over 149 passports to Sierra Leoneans from this region.
Mutik. This one is for the bold ones. The people who shaped their world and the winners who still put in the work. Cheers to those who start great things. When you start, you're hard to stop. You raise your game and never back down because you're bold enough to make it. To you I say, never stop. Mutik. Never stop starting.
Do you know you can transfer money, buy airtime, and pay all your utility bills in just a minute? You can have access to your account anytime, anywhere. Welcome to the world of fast and easy. GT Wall. With the GT Wall, you can transfer money from one GT Co account to another, pay utility bills, get account statements, get airtime, and check your balance. With GT Wall, you can buy Etsa anytime, anywhere. You can go to App Store or Play Store on your iPhone and Android devices, download the app, and enjoy. GT Co. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Free money, no sonko sonko.
So you mean say you sabi cook?
If I cook cassava leaf for you, you go bet your finger.
Eh? Cassava leaf? Na my favorite plazas than they.
If not a way you dey in hurry, I for don't cook am for you.
Me? Dey in a hurry? Who you call cassava leaf? Get outside you go. I don't cancel all team. Go cook. Any problem?
Me problem. Will I go cook the cassava leaf for you?
Wife material.
Bamako 40 yards. Na me.
Share and carbon.
Hello, Aminata. Teach me how to cook cassava leaf now. Hello? Oh God. Me get out of me airtime back down. Hey me. I don't cook me bongo.
Run out of airtime.
Hello and welcome from wherever you're joining me tonight. I am Marina Terry. Now first in the news, the College of Medicine and Allied Health Sciences, University of Sierra Leone, has sanctioned 6 lecturers and 6 students following a comprehensive investigation into examination malpractice during the pre-admission examination for the diploma in nursing programs. The disciplinary measures stem from the recommendations of 7-member investigation committee established after the examination was cancelled on the 10th March 2026. Also, the examination, which involved more than 800 candidates, was nullified following allegations of widespread malpractice. The committee was mandated to investigate the circumstances surrounding the incident, also review available evidence, determine the extent of the violations, and recommend appropriate disciplinary action. Its report concluded that the malpractice seriously undermined the integrity of the admissions process, compromised the college's academic standards, and threatening public confidence in the fairness and credibility of the university's assessment system. Now, as part of the investigation, 11 lecturers were examined. 5 were cleared after the committee found insufficient evidence to establish misconduct. However, 6 lecturers were found to have violated the University of Sierra Leone's examination regulation and staff code of ethics. In line with the committee's recommendations, the university has resolved that their contract will not be renewed upon expiring. The investigation also found 6 students culpable of examination malpractice in accordance with the university's disciplinary regulations. The students have been rusticated. Now to another story. After months of diplomatic negotiations, Sierra Leone and Guinea have officially reopened the Yenga border crossing, restoring movement of people and goods after more than a year of closure. While the development is expected to strengthen cross-border trade and cooperation, it has also renewed questions about border security, immigration management, and the protection of Sierra Leone's national interests in Yenga. Earlier today as well, on the AYV's Wake Up Sierra Leone program, the Director of Communications at the Office of National Security, Abdul Karim, will discuss the importance of the reopening and the government's security strategy. Here's the highlight.
Concerns around border ownership should not overshadow those good ties that have existed between us and among the people that are already residing in those communities. So whilst there are concerns over the ownership of Yenga, our leadership's thoughts, rightly so, that it was high time that we de-escalate the tensions. As I speak, we still have some presence of Guinean armed forces personnel in Yenga village, whilst we also maintain our posture at Soma. The discussions are ongoing, and full withdrawal or deployment of whichever force into Yenga territory will have to happen at the end of those discussions. But I tell you, prior to the reopening of the border, we had sustained engagement with our counterparts on the other end. Our commanders in Sierra Leone, commanders in Nongoa, the GAF personnel, had prior meetings, several meetings on Sierra Leone's end, on Guinea end, to discuss the fine details as to what will obtain going forward, because it is to ease the humanitarian problem unnecessarily that had been created there, to ensure that there is return to normal movement of goods and services, crisscrossing between Nongoa and Sierra Leone. Interestingly, what obtained there in terms of trade is not only beneficial to Sierra Leone and Guinea, it benefits other countries within West Africa, Senegal, Mali, and Liberia. So any tension of that nature, if it continues to fetter like it was happening, it will only mean that there will be economic hardship on those people whose occupation, whose calling is to engage into business. So to answer your question, we still have some presence of Guinean armed forces in Yenga village, and we have our Sierra Leonean personnel also deployed but with the full understanding that the discussion that are happening at the diplomatic level are going to result into a decision that will now totally de-escalate the tension. Whilst Yenga is what is very prominent and for very good reasons in the cards, there are other border security concerns between us and Guinea, even between us and Liberia. For that reason, joint technical commissions have been established between Sierra Leone and Guinea, between Sierra Leone and Liberia.
Now, 2 months after the Sierra Leone Immigration Department opened its Northern Office, residents are finally collecting passports and other immigration service at home instead of making the long trip to Freetown. The decentralization push is being hailed as a major step for provisional access through officials, though officials say power courts are still slowing things down. Augusta Ethel Ture reports.
Almost 2 months after the Sierra Leone Immigration Department launched services in the north of the country, residents are finally accessing passports and other immigration services without traveling to Freetown. Many see the move as a major step toward decentralizing essential public services. So how have residents in the North region responded? Regional Director Usman Kamara of the Sierra Leone Immigration Department says cooperation has been strong, with a steady turnout since operations began.
The people of the northern region welcome the initiative, and the compliance is in full control. As I am speaking, we have over 149 since we established or we launched the decentralization of our activities on the 15th of April to date. We have over 149 applicants, and we have processed over 149 passports, and we have also issued out over 149 passports to Sierra Leone from this region.
Before the rollout, citizens in the provinces had to make the trip to Freetown for every immigration service. For some, the delay came at a cost. Dennis Bandemansaye says he missed out on a scholarship opportunity because he could not get a passport within the required time frame. This time, he was among the first to get his passport in less than a week.
Before this time, we used to struggle a lot going to Freetown, transportation, and so on. Bringing the service to the residents of Akili, I think this one is a very good one. Yes. So the service, of course, people are very, very hospitable. They welcome people to step where they do exactly what they're supposed to do. Really, I feel good about the service.
Despite the progress, operations are not without challenges. According to Usman Kamara, inconsistent power supply remains a major obstacle to service delivery.
One of the major challenges we faced is electricity. Makeni, for now, the electricity problem is a big challenge, and then our equipment needs electricity full time. I believe that is one of the major challenges we have. And also, we have envisaged 2-3 applicants who thinks the system cannot work. You understand? Some of them have acquired passports before, and then when they come to this office, they tend not to have. And whilst we are on the process, when the passport gets to the printing office, they detected that these guys have acquired passport before, and then they want to bypass the system.
With services now closer to home, the Immigration Department's Northern Office is easing a long-standing access gap for provincial residents, especially those in the north. Augusta Ethel Ture, AYV Primetime News, Makeni.
Now, 15 years after the passage of the Persons with Disability Act of 2011, questions remain over how fully its provisions have been implemented. The legislation guarantees protection from discrimination and promotes equal access to education, healthcare, and employment and other essential services for persons with disabilities. But how much progress has been made? Earlier today on AYV's Wake Up Sierra Leone, the chairman of the National Commission for Persons with Disability, Brahma Abdullahi Sharif, reflected on his first year in office, assessed the implementation of the Act, and also outlined the Commission's priorities for the future. He was speaking to AYV's Victor Jones and Fabian Su. Here's the highlight.
People with disability don't want sympathy. What we want is empathy, understand us, see us as human beings, and let's work together. So going around the country, the issue of skills training came out very clearly. There were women with disability in Kono who are doing farming, but they needed support. There are amputees and one women in Port Locker who are doing farming, but they needed support. There's a skills training center in Pujon and Matrujon. That's really dilapidated. We have colleagues in Cambia, they have challenges in Bo and the rest. There are also students with disability in universities who are actually supposed to benefit from Section 14 of the Persons with Disability Law, but there are bottlenecks. There are pregnant women with disability who go to the hospital to benefit from Section 17 of the Persons with Disability Law that talks about free medical. There's also the issue of infrastructure, transports, buildings, public spaces. But there's also the issue of the attitudinal barriers, how society really perceives people with disability, and what are the efforts that are being made by individuals to shift that. There's also the challenge of service providers. What do they understand about the Persons with Disability Law? What do they understand? How are they putting all of this in practice? The Persons with Disability Law, it's over a decade old. What are we doing in terms of its review? Resilient institutions like United Polio Brothers and Sisters, Polio Sisters Association in Grafton, OTS in Kenema, Wisoford in Cambia, and the others, Popda in McKinney, they have proven beyond all reasonable doubts that when persons with disability are supported, right infrastructure and resources and the capacity, they can actually move out of the street, but they can also contribute to national developments and job creation. So resilience also, what do we have as an institution to be able to deliver the work that you're doing? You don't give what you don't have. If we don't have enough staff, we don't have computers, we don't have enough resources, it's also a challenge. So we also wanted a resilient institution. You know, last year I wrote a poem called Society and Us. And part of the poem says, you invite us for jobs, you see us for the very first time, you don't see our capacity, you see our disability, and that is the last time that you talk to us. And that's the problem. So it's about society still thinking that people with disability cannot deliver. But that's not just it. There's what we call reasonable accommodation and accessibility. Most of our public buildings are not accessible to people with disability. So heads of institutions don't know what to do. And we've been speaking to them. There's what is called reasonable accommodation. Reasonable accommodation is not about breaking down the building. It's about you making provision for the person with disability to perform.
Now, child marriage is no longer viewed simply as a cultural practice. It is increasingly recognized as a barrier to education, economic growth, and justice. Sierra Leone took a landmark step in 2024 by criminalizing the practice, but enforcing the law remains the greater test. According to the latest UNICEF data country profile updated in 2025, 3 in every 10 Sierra Leonean women aged 20 to 24 were married before their 18th birthday. Despite a steady decline over the past 2 decades, at Furabe College, law students are examining how the country's newest child protection law can move beyond legislation to lasting social change. Abubakar Siddiqui Jallo report from Mount Oriel.
Look at me. I am a leader, a dreamer, a potential the world is yet to see. I am a girl, not a bride.
Inside the lecture halls of Furabe College, legal education is being staged with one of Sierra Leone's most pressing social challenges, as students critically examine the prohibition of the Child Marriage Act of 2024.
You see this law? I know this here. They know the kind of disability for telling us and so. I don't know nothing. But what I know also, we have requirements now for breaking the news so that people not go and get to the beginning. You can continue forcefully. Okay,
the legislation removed legal loopholes that previously permitted child marriage under certain circumstances, but legal experts say enforcement will determine its success. The latest UNICEF data profile released in 2025 estimates that Sierra Leone is home to more than 998,000 women and girls who were married before the age of 18. The presentation explores how stronger legal enforcement can better protect children and influence future policy reforms.
Surrounds one of our modules, Introduction to Law. We were asked by the module lecturer to put together to do a research around the prohibition of the Early Child Marriage Act of 2022. So maybe look for some loopholes within that act that we want to raise awareness on. Because over the years, there have been instances of, children being abused. And of course, there are some instances when children have been forced into early marriage. So we are looking forward to them pushing the conversation beyond just the classroom, because that was the idea, to have the conversation a step further other than what we'll recommend as students.
Scholars say effective legislation must be matched by public awareness, adequate funding, and coordinated implementation at community level. They argue that chiefs, local councils, schools, and law enforcement agencies all have a critical role in ensuring that the new law delivers meaningful protection rather than symbolic change.
The High Court, the Supreme Court, are they not in Primetime? They are. But this Child Marriage Act fails to state the responsibility of the local court. It fails to give more power to the local court that is closer to the people. And as I stated earlier, traditional leaders play a significant role. In fact, when you read, we tell you that before we add president, before we add prime minister, we add kings. But the Child Marriage Act did not specify or state the responsibility of the traditional leaders. And listen, these people in these areas listen to their traditional leaders even better than their president. Because how many of them can access television? How many of them can access phones to listen to President what's parliament? How many of them have the time to even listen to people that are the parliamentarians?
For these aspiring lawyers, the debate extends beyond the classroom. They see the law as a living instrument capable of reshaping society when backed by consistent enforcement and public trust. Their message is that protecting children will depend not only on what Parliament has enacted, but on what communities choose to uphold. Abubakar Siddiqui Jallo, AYV News, Mount Oriel, Freetown.
Well, away from that, now let's join Ibrahim Ramadan Jallo for court update.
In today's High Court proceedings, 6 accused persons have been found guilty for the murder of Reverend Father Augustine Dauda Amara, a priest that was killed on the 30th of August 2025. Among the 6 accused persons, 5 are facing 4 count charges: conspiracy to robbery, robbery to aggravation, conspiracy to murder, and actual murder. 5 of them have been sentenced to 8 years imprisonment. For the 6th accused, Fode Alassane Sissé is facing 14 years imprisonment for buying stolen property that was stolen from Reverend Father Augustine Dauda Amara. Ibrahim Ramadan Jallo, AYV News, Freetown.
This is Primetime News on AYV Television and Radio. Stay tuned for more stories after the break.
Do you know you can transfer money, buy airtime, and pay all your utility bills in just a minute? You can have access to your account anytime, anywhere. Welcome to the world of fast and easy. GT Wall. With the GT Wall, you can transfer money from one GT Co account to another, pay utility bills, get account statements, get airtime, and check your balance. With GT Wall, you can buy Exa anytime, anywhere. You can go to App Store or Play Store on your iPhone and Android devices, download the app, and enjoy. GT Co. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Mutik. This one is for the bold ones. The people who shaped their world and the winners who still put in the work. Cheers to those who start great things. When you start, you're hard to stop. You raise your game and never back down because you're bold enough to make it. To you I say, never stop. Mutik, never stop starting.
Welcome back. I'm Marina Terry and this is AYV's Primetime News. Thank you for joining us. Let's take more stories. Now, the Center for Accountability and Rule of Law Sierra Leone, CAL Sierra Leone, is calling on President Julius Maada Bio to urgently intervene to protect the retirement savings of millions of contributors to the National Social Security and Insurance Trust, NASIT. At a press conference in Freetown, the organization raised concerns over the performance and management of the pension funds, investment, urging an independent forensic audit, the recovery of any mismanaged public funds, and far-reaching governance reforms to restore public confidence. Here are the highlights from Jeremy Ben Simbo, Acting Director of CAL Sierra Leone.
Tuesday, 7th July 2026. Press statement. Act now to secure workers' retirement savings at NASIT. CAL's message to President Bio. The Center for Accountability and Rule of Law, Sierra Leone, is calling on President Julius Maada Bio to urgently intervene to protect the retirement savings of Sierra Leone workers, following the Minister of Labour and Social Security's admission that NASIT investments are not doing well. CAL Sierra Leone recommends as follows. We call on the President and NASIT to immediately audit and recover, conduct a comprehensive independent review of all investments and recover funds where there has been underperformance, management, or loss. 2. Reform an investment strategy. Adopt a forward-looking, commercially viable investment plan. Focus on sustainable long-term returns for contributors. 3. Strengthen governance. Enforce merit-based recruitment, promotion, and deployment. Ensure the Board of Trustees provides active oversight and that board decisions are implemented without delay. Build capacity. Invest in technical expertise for investment management, risk management, and pension administration. And finally, guarantee timely benefits. Make prompt payment of pensions a core performance target. Retirees should not wait for what they have earned. NASIT is not just another public agency. It holds the life savings of Sierra Leone workers. Its sustainability is a national economic issue that affects workers, employers, pensioners, and the next generation. The time for statements has passed. The time for action is now. So this is our call to His Excellency the President to act, because as we think, for us as an institution, NASIT is becoming something else.
Now, disability is increasingly being recognized not as an issue of limitation, but as a question of equal opportunity, dignity, and participation. Yet across many societies, people living with disabilities continue to encounter barriers that restrict access to education, employment, and public service. In Sierra Leone, advocates are calling for stronger action to ensure disability inclusion moves from policy commitments to everyday reality. The Dorothy Springer Trust has engaged the media, urging greater attention to disability rights under the country's radical inclusion agenda. AYV's Issa Bangura has the details.
For many persons living with disabilities in Sierra Leone, daily life is still shaped by barriers, from limited access to education and employment to challenges in participating fully in society. The Dorothy Springer Trust says inclusion must move beyond policies on paper and become practical action.
However, we all know, if you read the radical inclusion, that despite the strong legal frameworks and the policy commitments and the international obligations, critical gaps still exist, and these gaps hinder effective implementation. Therefore, this advocacy and lobbying activity as part of the Lilian Foundation in collaboration with One Family People, we're here to provide an evidence-based analysis of the current challenges that underscores the legal and policy imperatives, and therefore offer detailed strategic recommendations tailored for policymakers, development partners, and civil society, so that we can accelerate progress towards genuine disability inclusion in Sierra Leone, in particular in the education sector.
We call upon all stakeholders to act decisively. 1. MBSSC to allocate a dedicated sustainable annual budget line for the same unit as mandated by Section 10 of the Sierra Leone Disability Act of 2011. 2. The Ministry of Finance to ensure disability inclusive budgeting across all education programs in line with the Article 4 of the UNCRPD and Target 4.5 of the SDGs. 3. Development partners to increase targeted investments in disability inclusive education, intervention, and capacity building, consistent with Sierra Leone's National Strategy on Disability and Development, education sector plan.
Participants argued that disability inclusion is not simply a social responsibility, but an investment in national development. They called for increased support for skills training, accessible services and opportunities that allowed persons with disabilities to contribute meaningfully to the economy.
Part of our program, advocacy is a key tool, because if we cannot advocate to let the officials who are in the implementing field to understand what we are doing, to be a very difficult thing to achieve what we want to see as a whole, as a government, or as a country.
Looking at the CPR aspect of the 5 programs, we are operating under the 4 thematic areas of the CPR approach, which has to do with the health, education, social inclusion, livelihood, and empowerment. Under these 4 domains, we are using these 4 domains to ensure to give support to children and youth with disability, not only children and youth with disability, but also their parents and caregivers.
The media was also urged to challenge stereotypes by highlighting achievements of persons with disabilities and holding institutions accountable for inclusive practices. Organizers say lasting change will depend on sustained commitments from government, development partners, and communities to ensure persons with disabilities are not only included in policy decisions, but are part of shaping the decisions that affect their lives. Issa Bangura, AYV News, Freetown.
All right, now for sports, I have been joined in the studios by Maria Samara. Good evening and thanks for being here with me.
Good evening, Marina, and good evening to our viewers all around the world. For a sport update tonight, the National Olympic Committee and Commonwealth Games Association of Sierra Leone have commenced a 4-day certified leadership training, Level A, at the Olymp Africa Center at Gorich in Freetown. According to them, the training aimed at strengthening leadership capacity and promoting sustainable sport for all sporting disciplines across the country. Ransford McLean has more.
The one of the Tafisa Certified Leadership Training Level 1 brings together sports administrators, executive and emerging leaders to enhance their leadership, management and organizational skills while promoting sustainable sports for all programs throughout Sierra Leone. Speaking on behalf of the Sports for All Commission at the NOC, Chairman James Fire described the course as a significant investment in developing competent and committed leaders capable of expanding access to sports and physical activity.
To equip leaders from various sporting associations and federations to man the affairs of their sports association, so that we can have a better structured and organized federations or association in Sierra Leone. First of all, this is a level 1, and after the level 1, we are going to level 2. The level 1 is mainly to bring these sport administrators. After the level 1 course, we are going to give them a project they are going to run. That after going to the level 2, they will give us a feedback how they're going to implement it in their sporting association. That's the project and the assignment we are going to give them after the level 1. Coming to the level 2, they're going to present it, because this project they are going to use it to implement it in their associations, even to the community. That will help sports in Sierra Leone to move faster than we want.
Providing overview on the program, Tafisa course expert Dr. Katongo Walia from Zambia says the internationally recognized Tafisa leadership course is designed to equip sports for all leaders with the knowledge, skills, and practical tools required to develop inclusive and sustainable physical activity and sports programs.
Depression by 30%. People who practice sports will not develop obesity easily. This may happen to some people if it's natural, but they will still be fit because they practice sport. They will be different from those who do not practice sports. The physical activity also brings better educational and professional performance. Someone mentioned it here. It's very important before going to work, even if you
Magdalene Y. Calon, a coach from the Sierra Leone Rugby Association, was among the 40 selected sporting administrators. She explains to journalists reason for being part of the Tafisa certified level 1 and areas she is intended to improve on.
Because I want to know more about the sports that I am in. I want to know more about it, and I want to keep participating as a coach. I want to improve more. You know, as a coach, you need to teach your athletes how to perform, how to do certain things. So I need to know more about the sport.
The NOC Sierra Leone Commonwealth Games Association has noted that participants who successfully complete the current program will qualify for the second phase of the Tafisa Certified Leadership course, which will focus on advanced leadership competencies, organizational transformation, and strategic institutional development. Runs for the AYV Sports.
And Star Sports Academy left no doubt about the ambition to maintain the second spot in the Leonework Premier League following a 4-1 win over Luawa FC in the Leonework Premier League. With this result, Luawa, unable to build on their tally of 33 points, are relegated to Division 1 and now joined Freetown City FC, who secured relegation a couple of weeks ago. For Star Sports Academy, the win is a significant milestone. The 3 points move them up to second place in the Leonework table with 60 points. And quickly, in the SLFA playoffs currently ongoing in Port Loko, today Western United secure a 3-2 win against Mampa Stars of Lunsar. It was indeed a daunting task for Mampa Stars, as they could not withhold the pressure from Western United. And also Waterloo FC have registered 2-0 win in the playoffs. Also, what an overwhelming performance from the Waterloo boys. But that's it for sport updates tonight. Over to you, Marina.
Thank you so much, Maria Esther Samara, for the update in sports. Well, that's all for Primetime News for tonight. For more stories, visit our website at www.ayvnews.com. If you have any comments on the news, please send us an email to info@ayvnews.com. I am Marina Terry. Many thanks for watching and listening. Have a good night and be safe.